Yesterday, the picture of Our Lady of Guadalupe visited our mission church. I'm sure you're all familiar with this beautiful image. According to the custom, one is invited to touch the image while speaking to Our Lady about their heart's desire. Throughout the day, there was a steady stream of people who came to see this humble handmaid of God, gently touching her folded hands, her heart, her pregnant womb, her compassionate face, her turquoise veil embroidered with stars. Some people even chose to rub their hand all over her from top to bottom, as if they were hoping to extract the fullness of her love, very much like a honeybee takes the nectar from a flower. At times there were as many as 40 people quietly standing in line, patiently waiting to venerate this patroness of the Americas. Like the homeless and poor who stand outside soup kitchens in the city waiting to be fed, all these people to me were Mary's poor, yearning to be fed by her maternal care. It was a very humbling experience to watch. It moved me to want to reread the story of the miraculous picture, which I would like to share with you now. It began over 450 years ago, long before the first pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock. Early one Saturday morning before the dawn, the day after the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, a simple peasant who had been baptized into a new religion called Christianity was on his way to Mass on the outskirts of Mexico City. As he walked, he heard music. It started out with just the birds. Then it seemed as if the earth began to sing underneath his feet and all the bushes and brush around him. And then a light came out of the ground, spreading to the skies. It seemed to shimmer and move like a fountain, and suddenly on the path in front of him, with her feet planted firmly on the ground, her bare feet, was a young woman. She was beautiful, and like him, an Indian, one of the indigenous people of a land that had been broken and shattered by the Spanish conquistadors who had settled there. She spoke to him in his language and asked, "My son, Juan Diego, where are you going?" "To church," he said. She spoke to him again. "You must know and be very certain in your heart that I am truly the ever-virgin Mother of the true God, through whom everything lives, the Creator and Master of heaven. I am your merciful Mother, the Mother of all of you who live united in this land, and of all peoples, and of all those who love me, of those who cry out to me and seek me, and of those who have confidence in me." She then asked Juan Diego to go to the Bishop of Mexico City and to tell him that she wanted a church to be built on the hill where she stood. Twice, Juan Diego went to the bishop and told him about the lady on the hill and her request. The bishop would not believe him and requested a sign. The third time, Our Lady gave Juan the sign. She told him to climb the hill, and there he would find flowers blooming. Now, the hill was a barren desert, covered with scrub, cactus, weeds, thistles, and thorns. But to his surprise, on this desert hill, Juan Diego found roses growing, Castilian roses, wet with dew, emanating a thick, strong scent. He came to the Virgin with his arms full of these roses that he had picked. She took the roses and arranged them lovingly in his tilma, which is a cloak made of hemp fiber. And then, wrapping him and the roses together, she sent him off to the bishop like a mother would send her child off to school. When Juan Diego came before the bishop, he opened his cloak and the fresh roses cascaded out onto the floor. The bishop fell to his knees, not because of the roses, but because on the tilma was the picture of what Juan Diego saw. The woman of light standing on the earth. The woman, Mary, the mother of the true God. Within 10 days, a small adobe chapel was built on the Tepeyac Hill, where today a cathedral and shrine now stand. 6 years later, 9 million Aztec people had been baptized as Christians. Our Lady of Guadalupe is called today the patroness of the Americas because we are all her children. And she is with us when we suffer and need comfort and solace. Like all the other apparitions of Mary over time, Our Lady of Guadalupe came to a barren hill located outside the center of power and domination and wealth. Why? Because she belongs to the poor and those who are excluded and are the outcasts of society. And she always chooses the powerless, the poor children of God, to go and to evangelize the powerful and to call them to renewal and reconciliation. As the local bishop wrote 4 years after the apparition at Lourdes, once again, it is the poorest and the most fragile in this world whom Mary is using to communicate God's merciful love to us. What does this appearance say to you and I? Does it say that the poor are more worthy of Mary's care? Yes, it does. Because Mary is poor. And so she has this special affinity for the poor of the earth. Her son, Jesus, became poor in the flesh and was born in a lowly stable. God came as a poor child in an occupied territory and died poorer than anyone could have ever dreamed. Mary comes to remind us most vividly of those who need the most attention and care. The weak, the sick, the elderly, the cast-offs, babies and their mothers, the broken and the bent, those afflicted and impoverished by others. She appears in history to remind us that those who call themselves her children, that we must be brothers and sisters to all her children, to all those in need. In truth, Mary is mother to all of us, and she cares most for those who share her experience of poverty. She compassionately listens to all those who know misery and human suffering and injustice. She herself lived in poverty, in the midst of violence, when political intrigue swallowed whole peoples without concern, under the shadow of slaughter and oppression.